Hello and welcome to your Living A Course in Miracles call. My name is Jared Krebs. Today is June 24th, 2022. But in Australia, it's June 25th, 2022. And we have a very special guest here with us today. Cate Grieves is an enlightened Course in Miracles teacher. She is somebody who does such great work in this world. She has so many different ways that she teaches through Zoom calls, through a private Facebook group, through Facebook posts, and she does so many things for the Course in Miracles community. And Cate, I just want to thank you for all of your contributions. We've had you on several times on our call, but also you've been a personal mentor to me. So thank you for the time you've sown into me as well and helping me along my journey. And we're so excited to hear from you. It's been so long since we've had you. So I guess we could maybe start with your story and then really go from there. Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you, Jared. Thanks everyone for being here. So let's just start off with some quietness. Let's just sink down into some rest, so we can let whatever I'm going to say just come in. So let's just have a few minutes silence. So on my journey back to God, you could say the love that I am, the experiencing of this love, I was just like everyone else. And all my sharings is that there's a lot of fear that comes up in your mind, which is the ego. And so all we need to do is just do some practice every day, just letting go, asking God to come, to reveal himself, to let go of the ego, to be with the Holy Spirit, to be more with Jesus and the Holy Spirit every day, to read his lessons. There's no magic formula. And to what they call be enlightened is just to be more in the light in your mind, to have more light, to have more radiance, to live more in that quietness, that love of God and the joy. And as we're on our journey, we do experience more and more of that. So my journey with the Course was just to really do what Jesus was asking us to do in the Course. And it's not easy because there's some things that he asks us to do that can seem quite difficult. So generally before I do a talk, I get some guidance around a lesson or a theme. And today, the lesson that was presented to me was, the world I see holds nothing that I want. And beyond this world, there is a world I want. So this is sort of all part of the Course, is about letting go of what we value here and coming to just value God. just value this inner light, this love, and to let go of all the other values. Because what we come to see is those values, they turn to dust. They're just not, they're not something that is changeless. So I'd like to take you through a bit of a meditation today to see if we can let go of all the things that we think we value. Because what I did I did a really intense 2-year period where I basically just my whole day for every 2 years was dedicated to the course's teachings, like the whole day. And anything else I had to do was sort of just what I had to do, you know, make meals, and I was working at the time. But my whole dedication was to really practice this course the way Jesus wants us to do it. And the second year of that 2-year period, the first year was just a lot of crying. There was just sort of like so much inner stuff that was coming up. And so that was sort of like a messy year, you could say. And then the second year was really feeling this inner guide saying, let go of these, and pointing out to me the things that I was valuing. So towards the last 6 months of that 2 years, I would sort of scan my mind and I would check in. What am I still valuing? Am I valuing the shape of my body? Am I valuing my house, my children's lives? These are really difficult things because we have to let go of all of these things, our partners' lives, because they're actually not their real life. And if we even hold one thing, a grievance or an attachment, which is an idol before God, we have to let everything go to come to God. So in a way, in this dream lifetime, when you're lying on your deathbed, you take nothing with you, do you? There's nothing that comes with you. The clothes on your body, your house, your car, your money, anything that you value has to be left behind. So truth isn't, we don't come to truth through this seeming death that we call death here. We come to truth through coming to God, through letting go of these things. Now, just because we let them fully go doesn't mean we're not going to use them. We're still going to still live in a house, still feel myself to be part of a body, but I have more and more of experience of being mind. But now the body is just repurposed. But I've let go. So every morning now it's just a big surrender. Like the world I see holds nothing that I want. I know that my children, as much as I love my children, I know that they're not bodies. They're in God's mind with me as spirit. They're beautiful. They're whole and complete. And in this lifetime, through this serial dream lifetimes, they're just appearing as my children. But they're not. They're my true self, just like I am. So today, let's try to do this thing that I was guided to do. I try to teach the things that the Holy Spirit taught me, because I think they're valuable, because they really helped. And I mean, it's in this lesson, but it's very easy to do the lessons and just do them and skip on. There's a huge depth to these lessons. And it means to scan your mind for anything that you value here and ask yourself, am I willing to let it go now? As I said, it's just you let go the attachment or the holding on of it and thinking that this thing is your safety or your security. And you let it go to come to have your safety and security in God. It's your true self. So we're going to see that the world holds nothing that I want. And then it says, beyond the world, there is a world I want. Because this is a thought that follows from the one we practiced yesterday, because you cannot stop with the idea that the world is worthless. For unless you see that there is something else to hope for, you will only be depressed. We have to have something else. So you can still work, like with Jared, when we've been talking, it's like you still do if you want to, if you feel joyful about doing the job you're doing or the business you're doing, but you just do it in a way that it's not about getting anything, it's about giving and trusting. So you're giving love, you're having that joining with all the customers, anyone you work with, you're having a joining in love and laughter, and you're not fully focused on, I've got to have this job to get all this money to keep me safe. All those things are let go. And so we have a world that we do want, which is where we see a call for love and help, and we just extend that love. So we repurpose the body into something for the Holy Spirit to speak through and to love through, and to have God's love as a mirror through us. So to have that all-encompassing love, we have to release the blocks, and the blocks are our attachments to things here. Now, it can even be an attachment to a grievance, or like, I will never ever let go of that person's guilty for doing that to me. That's an idol before God, because you want to hold part of God as sinful, and you're in a dream of sin. It's not true. There's nothing but God. That's the truth. There's just this beautiful, glorious, infinite love that's singing you a song of love, of gratitude. And this song is forever going on in our minds. And if we want to hold on to anything in the world, we lose the ability to hear that song and have that experience. So this motivates us to see that the world I see holds nothing that I want. So just before we do this meditation, sometimes it's helpful to if you think that there's something of value here in this world, and you've already got it in your mind, say it's your child's life, or your partner's life, or your parents' life, or your house, or your job, or your career, or anything in this world. Ask yourself or inquire that, can you know 100% for sure that nothing will ever change in that relationship? Like, will you always have that money from that job? Will that company always be there? Will your partner always be there? Will your child always be there? And you start to see that this world is all about change and flux. Everything is changing in every moment. Our job changes, our relationship changes, our child's health, and that character that plays the character of our children or our spouse or our parents. In this dream of death, everyone dies. There's nobody that is in a changeless dwelling place in a body. The body was always changing. Everything's changing. You look around this world, there's viruses, there's wars come and go, viruses come and go. It's the big ego plan to keep you interested in trying to get the world to stop changing. You could say, you're just like, just stop changing, just be still so I can be at peace. But peace never comes from that. So we start to see that what this idol that I've got, that I'm trying to hang on to, is always changing. So I'm never going to be at peace while I keep desiring for this thing to either change or not change. So, you know, you might want your child to change, and you might be spending a lot of time trying to get that to happen. But in a way, that idol that you have, if you want someone to change, is the idol that they change. So that's your idol. You see, you can pinpoint the idol. You can scan your mind all the time throughout the day and say, where are my idols? Because they keep me from experiencing the changeless dwelling place of God's love. So be ready. So for the last 6 months of my journey, I did a lot of scanning my mind. And there were so many tiny little things, these very subtle little things. I've done all the big things, let all the big things go, but there's all these little subtle things. So our question to ourselves in that sense is, am I, or can I, or am I ready to let go of that attachment, that idol of desiring that? So the idol is the desire. Can I let it go? And if I can, and if I'm motivated to do it, there's some ego fear arising, saying, what's going to happen if I don't shore all this stuff up, or make this person change, or make sure I keep my house or my job? What if I let go? I won't have any motivation. That's an ego backlash that still says, don't let go of this value. So, sorry, I've got a little frog in my throat today. So let's let go of everything if you can. If you're ready to come to God, so do the best you can. You might be at this particular stage in time just ready to let go of some of these things and be more present with what's in your mind, what you're attached to, what you're fearful of losing. So let's just quieten our minds and close our eyes. Today we practice letting go all thought of values we have given to the world. We leave it free of purposes we gave it. We leave it free of purposes we gave its aspects and its phrases and its dreams. We hold it purposeless within our minds and loosen it from all we wish it were. So I'm just going to put my own words onto this. And this was how I was guided to do it. Just scan your mind for anything that you feel is something that you depend upon in this world, that you feel if it was taken away, you would be devastated. And remind yourself that this valuing something that is change, that always changes, and Jesus says will be hurled into dust. See your hands in front of you open, like your two hands out in front of you. And imagine a little pile of dust in it. And tell yourself that's what you're valuing. That's what you're putting before God. Because what you value is a pile of dust. Everything here, even bodies, will be back to dust. So this is going to be quite challenging now. I'm going to ask you to look at all the people that are close to you in your life. Just see their faces. And just say to them, I let you go. I let go of trying to have you in my life or trying to change you. So I'm letting go of what I think is valuable in those relationships. So feel yourself letting go. You might feel your shoulders dropping, your stomach unwinding. Now see your job or your career or your business and just let that go. Just say, I give it to you, Holy Spirit, I let go. And just feel yourself releasing it. Now we're going to do our house and our car, all our furniture, our jewelry, anything that's in your house that you, collections or trophies or things that mean something. And we're just going to let them all go. Maybe like a fire has come into your house and just burnt it all down. Burnt your house, burnt your car, burnt everything. Everything you own is gone. Just feel this releasing it all and coming back to this inner love. To see it means nothing. Next, just see your friends, your work colleagues, anyone like that. Just let go. Let them all go. Let everything go. Let your garden go. Let the area you live in go. Let the Course in Miracles teachings go. anything else that you see in your mind that I haven't said, just let it go. Let go of trying to change your body, anything to do with the body, food, medicines, vitamins, anything. Just let them go. Just feel yourself releasing it all and saying, I surrender. I come to you, God, with empty hands. I let go of everything. It's going to go anyway. Everything here is going to turn to dust. I can see that. So I might look at this little pile of dust in my hands again and be reminded that Jesus says anything I value here is going to turn to dust. In 100 years, it'll be rusted and to dust. And just blow it away. Just like it's gone. Now I want you to come inward to what is valuable. So we've given up the worthless. We've seen it holds nothing for us. There's no happiness or security in things that turn to dust. And we come inwards to God. Feel this beautiful love, this stillness, and this peace. If you have any fear thoughts coming in now about what you're doing, just say, Holy Spirit, I give you this fear thought. Let it go. Feel releasing it to the Holy Spirit. Tell yourself, I don't want that thought anymore. I just want God. I want this beautiful, all-encompassing love. That's what I value. I want to come home back to the love that I am. I want the peace of God above all else. I want the love of God above all else. I want the experience of this limitless, boundless joy and peace. I value a tranquil mind. And so we'll just have a few minutes in silence where you can do these three things: surrendering, letting go. If a fear thought comes, give it to the Holy Spirit. Just let it go like the things of the world and come within to God, to love. God is love, infinite love, great love. So we'll just have a few minutes now to sit with that. I'm just going to read, just stay quiet, with your eyes closed. I'm just going to read a couple of sentences from these lessons. Nothing is here to cherish. Nothing here is worth one instant of delay and pain, one moment of uncertainty and doubt. The worthless offer nothing. Certainty of worth cannot be found in worthlessness. The world you see holds nothing that you need to offer you, nothing that you can use in any way, nor anything at all that serves to give you joy. Believe this thought, and you are saved from years of misery, from countless disappointments, and from hopes that turn to bitter ashes of despair. No one but must accept this thought as true if he would leave the world behind and soar beyond its petty scope and little ways. Each thing you value here is but a chain that binds you to the world, and it will serve no other end but this. For everything must serve the purpose you have given it, until you see a different purpose there. The only purpose worthy of your mind this world contains is that you pass it by without delaying to perceive some hope where there is none. Be you deceived no more. The world you see holds nothing that you want. We're going to come to find, as we let go of the world that we think we value, and we trust Jesus' words that he says that it doesn't offer us what we're looking for, the joy and happiness and peace that we are seeking is found within, in our minds. So our emphasis is not on giving up the world, but on exchanging it for what is far more satisfying, filled with joy, and capable of offering you peace. So we can trust him that as we let go of seeking to defend a little body in a world with things that we think are going to make it happy and give it safety, we just surrender and just know that nothing here can ever bring us safety or peace, because it's ever changing and it's turning to dust. So we come with open hands to God. Communication, unambiguous and as plain as day, remains unlimited for all eternity. And God himself speaks to his Son as his Son speaks to him. Their language has no words, for what they say cannot be symbolized. Their knowledge is direct and wholly shared and wholly one. How far away from this are you who stay bound to this world? And yet how near are you when you exchange it for the world you want? Now is the last step certain. Now you stand an instant space away from timelessness. Here, can you but look forward, never back, to see again the world you do not want? Here is the world that comes to take its place. As you unbind your mind from little things the world sets forth to keep you prisoner. Value them not, and they will disappear. Esteem them, and they will seem real to you. Such is the choice. What loss can be for you in choosing not to value nothingness? This world holds nothing that you really want, and what you choose instead, you want indeed. Let it be given you today. It waits but for your choosing it, to take the place of all the things you seek but do not want. So we'll just do another little 5-minute meditation on this little prayer that Jesus has here. Beyond this world, there is a world I want. I choose to see that world instead of this, for here is nothing that I really want. Then close your eyes upon the world you see, and in the silent darkness, watch the lights that are not of this world light one by one, until where one begins, another ends, loses all meaning as they blend into one. Today, the lights of heaven bend to you, to shine upon your eyelids as you rest beyond the world of darkness. Here is light your eyes cannot behold, and yet your mind can see it plainly and can understand. A day of grace is given you today, and we give thanks. Beyond this world, there is a world I want. It's in my mind. It's the light. So let's go within and find that light and love again, just for a few more minutes. Okay, so I might just gently come out of that meditation. And I'm interested to see hear any feedback anyone has had about, did you have any experiences or did you find it difficult to do? Just anything you'd like to share, or any questions. We can do some Q&A as well.
So I came like to this call like super hyped and my energy was like way up here, right? And like you started the silence, and I mean I just got into this like I think I was agitated. My energy was so high, right? Like, and I just fell deep into like a stillness and a, you know, like visualizing like how much I value my business and my wife and my vitamins and my things, and like putting them like on an altar and then blowing them away into dust, you know, on my own body. I saw my own body too. Like I put my body there. And then when it came time to like visualize the sleep, or not the sleep, being like one with God, like the world beyond this world thing, I just fell asleep really. Like I you know, maybe I needed to just rest. You know, I've had a long week type of thing, but like,
Yeah.
it was nice to like slow down because I've been going so fast. So thank you for that. It was really nice.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with falling asleep. It is, sometimes that's the most helpful thing. Like you said, you might have needed a little rest. That's okay.
Yeah. So we got questions. So we'll just go in order on the hand raised there. So Terry Wade from San Francisco.
Yeah, I feel so much the same what you're saying, Jared. So much of it. My mind was just, I have so much on my mind. So it was nice to just, I feel like I still had a lot on my mind, but I had moments of being really still and quiet. And then in that stillness and quiet, I found peace and joy, and I started smiling. So that was really nice. And actually, I had a lot of questions I wanted to say when I was coming to the call. And it was interesting. You talked right about desire right away. That was the first question I had. Do I have to let go of desires to reach enlightenment? So it sounds like, yeah. But you can, you know, be connected in love and in laughter in the things you're doing, but, you know, letting go of the desire. So I'm going to rewatch that first part again for sure, because that was really powerful. So another question that I had that came up. So I know, you know, the state of the world's crazy with the abortion, you know, going on, but I had such a great day at the beach today and eating sushi and with my dog, and I had a great day. And I did this funny reel that I drafted it a long time ago, and I posted it because I was just in such a good mood. And I was saying, don't forget to laugh. Like, it was already on there. I just posted it. And then I got 10 people unfollowed me because you know, I'm talking about laughter today. And so like, I was like, then I felt guilty that I'm happy. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, like how crazy. But this has happened to me before, like when there's big movements, people want me to be mad. And I'm not mad. So I don't know, any insight would be great on that.
Yeah, never attach to outcomes. Just never, ever concern yourself with anyone coming, liking, leaving, anything. Just let go of any meaning that you place on it. Because otherwise what you'll notice is that you'll start to lose that authenticity of being with the spirit and just letting things come through. Because the joy of the spirit and the spirit's words, and like just what we've done today, the ego doesn't like. So there's going to be less, there's going to be at the moment less minds attracted to this, and more of the ego like, oh no, you've got to be upset to get something to change. But the more over time, the more Course in Miracles students do this and share and play your part in whatever you're meant to do, because we've all got our own little part for everyone's enlightenment, which is salvation. Yeah, so I mean, I've shared things. It's initially for the first year as I was moving into the course and sharing its message, I lost a lot of people dropping off, but the Spirit just said, don't worry, everybody comes to this eventually, whether it's this lifetime or another lifetime, they come.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, where Jesus would go to a town, and if there wasn't anyone around to listen to him, maybe he just had a small group. You know, there's those parables where he just dust his sandals off and move on. So that's all we have to do, is dust our sandals off and just keep with the Spirit, keep with that joy, and you just have to trust that whatever message you're putting out, if there's no motivation to get anyone to like it or to stop anyone leaving it, it will flow freely through you. So pay no attention to numbers of likes, number of comments, number of views. The Spirit just said, let all that go. And then you can, when you're free of outcomes, you can just be and put a message up. The Spirit said to me, one person can watch your video, or, you know, whatever you put out, one person, and they can really get a great message from it. And, you know, 10,000 may turn away from it. But he says that one person might get something from it and might go on to affect 1 million minds. So we can't know. He said, don't worry about numbers, because we don't know where the message is going and who's hearing it. All we need to do is be the messenger.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. And it wasn't even more about the unfollows, because I don't really care, but I didn't want to offend anybody.
You cannot not offend. It's impossible for you to have any effect on. This is a really important teaching, right? If someone is offended, it's got nothing to do with what you've said or done. It's the thoughts, the ego thoughts in their mind that make a meaning of what you're saying and doing. And I remember one day I did my daughter-in-law's dishes to help her, and she got very offended because she said to me, oh, you make me feel like I can't cope with my housework. You see, that in that moment, the Spirit said to me, see, it's got nothing to do with what you do. You can't go around trying not to offend, because the offense is coming from their mind, the meaning they're putting on what you're doing. And they have to, dishes. I seem to have a lot of teachings around dishes. Yeah, oh, it's all about housework and stuff. But Terry, don't concern yourself, because it's not personal. If you try to do something to stop any offense, you'll change what you do. You've really got to let whatever's speaking through you just come through. If something's really on your heart, you really feel like it's the Spirit saying something, just say it honestly, and have no concern that if someone gets offended, because it's their ego that's putting a meaning on it. So once you know that their ego has seen something, the ego's come forward in their mind. Remember, nothing leaves our mind. So the most important thing is you don't get offended that they're offended and said something that you hold true.
Okay, thank you.
So it's a really good question, that one. It's really these are so helpful when you know the right way to respond. And this is, you know, in like Rules for Decisions, he says he'll help you with your responses. If you say, Holy Spirit, it seems like people are offended by this and they've left, he'll just tell you that it's the ego in their mind. It's got nothing to do with you. Because if someone's offended and someone's not offended, then it can't be what you're doing. It's got to be their thoughts in their mind, the meaning they're putting on it. And they'll choose eventually. All minds will choose truth. That's guaranteed. And we're part of all that, helping. Thanks, Terry.
Beautifully said. Thank you, Cate. Thank you, Terry. Let's go to
I'll come and do
Eli.
the breakfast later, Jared.
Yes, come on down. You won't offend me. Eli Davey from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Take it away.
Yes, thank you, Jared. And thank you, Cate, for being here. I've loved listening to you. And Jared, I love cleaning. So
Great.
I'd never mind to help you with the dishes. I'd rather just do them for you.
Oh my
That
God,
would
you're
make
so
me
wonderful.
happy.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's get back to some bit serious here. Cate, during a meditation and where we were letting go of everything, it was, for me, it's so easy to let go of everything. I think of my husband, I think of this, that, the other thing, whatever. There's nothing there, it's not real, whatever. Then my little dog licks me. And guess what? She's my, I have a really hard time making her not real because she's not here any more than I am, or you are, or anybody is. None of it's real. So when we are so completely so attached, what's the extra thing? Like, I love my husband to death. He's a wonderful man. But in the letting go and realizing none of it's real. And I spend a lot of time watching everything with Jesus or Holy Spirit. I am so really strong and real, getting better and better and better at watching everything with that. But when it comes to the puppy dog, I'm having a hard time looking at her. Yeah. So
Yeah.
help.
So, I too have a little dog, and she's now about 13 years old. She's a little dog. So she's getting close to her green dream time. I don't know whether you know that term in the States. It's where they give them the little injection. Where did you go?
Here I am.
So how I asked Jesus, how do I look upon my dog? And so if you think of the love from your dog, just the love, it's like it represents in our dream that we're having now, this dream here of it, the love, that pure love it's like a representation. It's still there. Oh, there's a little dog there.
Yeah, she is
So
always beside me.
But the love doesn't go when the dog goes. That love is still present in you, and it's all part of God. So it's sort of like, you know how we've said, I want to see the world, a different world. So what I came to see, which is the real world, is that everything is just love. So if I'm speaking to someone and they're in their ego, I just see them as like having a little dream that they're separate, or like they're just forgotten who they are. And so I look at my little dog as representing the love of God, because generally they're very loving and open. And I've even given little talks where I've said that if you are a dog lover and you come home and the dog is just jumping around you and loving you, and so it's a really close symbol of God's love for us. So it's like a symbol in the dream that can represent this love that is just loving us. So dogs or cats or any pets that you have, they can symbolize in the dream the love of God. But the love's not in them, right? Because where is the love that you're experiencing? Within yourself, right? Because someone could come into your house and be scared of your dog, right?
Yep.
And be fearful. And they don't have that relationship. So what it is, it's just your mind has given it permission to be that love, and that's love. So but it's all within your mind still, because nothing is outside you. So it's okay. And when the dog passes, it's okay to cry a little bit,
Oh, I
but
will.
also try to quickly remind yourself that the love wasn't in the dog, it was in your mind. And if you think of the dog, you'll feel this love. And that's like we think of God. So they're representations of the love of God. That is just an unconditional love.
Okay, thank you.
So, it's important not to try to be too spiritual and, I know I'm going to be sad when my little dog goes, but it won't last too long, right? It was like when my dad died, there was just a few moments where I went, oh, and then the truth came in, So it's not to deny anything, but just to allow yourself. If these tears come, let them come and they will go. And you will then remember the love.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Cate.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Laura.
yes.
Laura, where are you calling in from?
Ukio, Oregon.
Oh, awesome. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. Boy, I'm so glad you talked about pets and animals and the love, because I've always had a lot of depression and sadness, and I've always felt like my pets were the love that held me, that kind of held me together for so long. And now I feel, and since I've been trying to work on the course, I've had a lot of confusion about, well, how am I supposed to perceive this? Or is it or isn't it a real love? But it is real love. All love is real. I think that's what you're saying. And that's such a break, such relief. So in the meditation, my back started hurting really badly. And then I was able to remember that, it's just my body, and my body's not really me, and breathing, and just my body's always what I'm trying to blow off the dust, just leave me alone. And I got relief, it just let go. And then my household, my family came in and started making all this racket and bellowing, and at first I started to get really irritated, and tears came, and then I started laughing, because I was like, my ego could do anything, it could just do anything to try and distract me from what's really happening inside me. So this is really, I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you so much.
Lovely to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, when you have any like pain in your body, they're really good. Just repeating these couple of little teachings. I am not a body. I am free. I am as God created me. Like, say them really slowly and really feel into that last one, where you really feel yourself as being created by love, and it will shift that pain, because the pain is in our mind. Even though it seems to be in the body, everything's in the mind. And so these teachings have to be applied to it. You come to identify more as spirit or love rather than a body. There's nothing wrong with taking medicines either, or vitamins, like I know Jared sells them. There's nothing wrong with these things. They're all good for where you are. If you're at and they're working, just use them. Keep practicing the forgiveness as well, which is what we did today. Everything where you're choosing another way is forgiveness. So thanks, Laura. Cate, wrap.
Hi, I appreciate, my question mainly was about the animals. So you already answered that, because I had a lot of emotion during the meditation about trying to, release attachment to my animals, my dogs. So I will look at it differently now. I did appreciate also of releasing attachment to you know, sometimes just achieving things and doing things because you think, you know, that's going to make you happy. So it was, you know, very helpful to have that affirmations or the reassurance that I don't have to do those things anymore. I can free myself from that. And those are my blocks. So, you know, I appreciate that. Thank you. I guess I didn't have a question actually because you answered it, but thank you.
Yeah, that's fine. It's really important to remember that even though the love that we're feeling with our animals, our pets, is like a symbol to us to see, as long as you sort of align it with God's love, because the love isn't in the body, it's in our mind. And it's a symbol that's helped us in the dream to come to know unconditional love. So it's a symbol that's helpful, but there's no bodies ever. It's really important to remind yourself that bodies aren't real. Bodies aren't born and died. What we're looking at is dream figures. And we as spirit have never left the mind of God. So there's no cruelty in God and not in me, right? Because God knows not of this world of form, all right? So it's very important to remind yourself of the truth, because it can be very much like, well, the love of God is now in my dog, right? So it's important to not step there, it's just to say it's a symbol in my dream that's representing that love. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with using being in the happy dream, but to remind yourself that it's a symbol that's helping you come to know yourself as that unconditional love. Could I be like my dog? Could I wag my tail and jump all over everyone that walks in my door? Because that's the symbol. I just thought that was funny saying that.
Yeah, my dogs wouldn't do that, but
yeah, that's
okay.
fun.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks, Kathy. No problem. Hi, Cate.
Hi, Cate. I heard you talk before about, can you hear me okay?
It's a little bit, actually, let me just turn my volume up on my computer, just a moment, okay, so I can hear you better. Your voice is a little bit low. Let me turn it up. That's better. Okay.
All right. I've heard you talk before about your father, like especially when he was at hospice.
Yes.
And what struck me was your perspective, your demeanor. It was you treat him as if you walked into the room and I was laying in the bed, you know, and I'm perfect right now. I'm healthy. You treated it like you would treat us no different. And the word that came to mind was compassion, and I interpret it as you did not have compassion because, in a good way, because you saw him whole, you saw him complete, you saw him in God's hands, you saw love. And then I looked up in the Course the word compassion, and it's only there one time. So could you speak about, was that compassion or was it just love? And maybe why compassion is not in the Course, but one time?
First of all, can I ask you, what do you see as compassion? What do you, when you read that word compassion and you think about it, Keith, what does it mean to you? How does it look? If you were to go to see your dad in aged care, what does it look like for you in that moment?
I guess I would feel obliged to take care of him and see him as leaving and needing help and doing whatever I can to help him But I'm pretty sure I would see him as he's about to leave me, you know.
You mean he's going to pass away and leave
Yes.
you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so when I was visiting my dad in the hospice, I mean, I don't try to see people as innocent and holy and perfect. I just see them that way.
Sure.
It's now just it's like in my mind, I just see everyone's holiness, but I'm helpful. So when I helped my dad for 2.5 years through COVID lockdowns. I did his shopping, his banking. When I showered him, I toileted him, I helped him, bought things for him. When he was in the hospital, I organised him to go there. I talked with the nurses, the doctors. Everything looked like, in worldly terms, looked like I was helping him. So in the world, but not of it. So I know my job was not my job is to see him. It's already seeing his wholeness. But in the world of form, the ego's world, there's things that need to be done. And Jesus doesn't say to turn away and not do anything to help. So it's not like the doctor would come in and say, we're recommending he go off this medication, and I just turn away and say there is no body, there is no world. That's not helpful. So just so that you understand that you can care for someone and do all those things. Like I could have done all of that 2.5 years of helping. It was all guided by my spirit, was guiding me at the time of what to do. And he said, your dad needs care and you're the one that's to give him the care. And in that relationship that I had with my dad, it was healing his mind, because there was nothing that I didn't try to change him in any way. He would get upset, he would be angry at times. So all through that 2.5 years that I was looked like I was helping my dad, that was what was going on in form, but underneath was all the love that was coming at him, all the love that was coming through me. So that's what was really happening. And all this other stuff of me shopping and banking and rubbing moisturizer into his legs and showering him and drying him, and that was all the other stuff that was going on. But the love that was there was what the teaching was. Because the teaching to him was, there is nothing you can do that will take my love away from you.
And that's how I perceive it.
And yeah, so I could have done all of that 2.5 years with a grievance, or I could do it with love. I'd be doing all the same thing, but what would I be choosing in my mind? I could do it with the ego and feel guilty and say, I'm responsible for my dad, I'm his daughter, I should do this, and feel really irritated. So doing all that with the ego is hell.
Sure.
Whereas when you do it with the Holy Spirit, you're doing the same things in form. You're just God's messenger, God's peace in the world, where none of the other children said they could do it. They just said, oh, I just can't stand being around Dad that long. He's difficult, he's hard to get along with, he won't cooperate. And at times he was difficult, but I just had the right words and the gentleness. So the spirit is soft and open and gentle. And if you can, when you're with anyone, if you can really feel into that, you know that you're in God's love. Don't demand anyone change. You'll be given the words. You'll be guided to, okay, this is not important. We'll let go. He doesn't want to have a shower today. That's all right. Okay, Dad, what else can I do for you? So compassion is probably not a big word, like you say, Keith. It's only used once in the course, because it can have connotations of feeling sorry for the person.
Yes, yes.
And that doesn't help.
Or see them
There's
less than
no
whole.
feeling. There's a section, chapter 16, it's called True Empathy. And we have to be really careful that we do not feel sorry for anyone, because our ego will join their ego, and there's no benefit to that. And the ego will say you have to feel sorry. And it was amazing how many people said, I'm sorry for your loss. And that was okay, because that's what the standard message is. And it was, I knew it was coming from love, that there was no loss to me, because my dad is not a body. He's the love within me. He's singing with God now with me. He's in the song.
Perfect. That's how
Does
I
that help you,
Yes.
Kate? Yeah.
Mhm. I guess
Wonderful.
it's sort of like compassion's sort of a step down from love.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with caring and being kind, but just make sure you don't drop into this feeling sorry.
Yes.
Because that's not of God.
That's the reason I
Right.
said that I didn't see compassion in you, because I knew you were a step above that doing love.
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
And that is where the true healing happens. Because now, Keith, think about whenever you've been ill or sick or in hospital or whatever. And has it been more helpful if someone comes in, and maybe if you've got any course students around you that come in, just say, I see your perfection. I see only your holiness and your infinite, true, boundless self. Or would it be more helpful for you to come in, have someone walk in and say, oh, poor Keith, I'm so sorry that you've got to go through. How bad is it that, you've broken your leg? Oh, I really hope it heals up soon. So which one of them would lift you up?
Good point.
Yeah. So we have to be really careful. That true empathy in chapter 16 is very helpful, because we have to unlearn all this false empathy, because
Yes.
it's not helpful.
False
And
empathy.
it takes a while to get it, but yeah.
Thank you very much.
It's really important.
That's very helpful.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Elaine.
I'm just really thankful to be here. I only started the course a few months ago, and I'm a month or maybe 2 months into it, because of all the answers to questions I didn't know I had were being answered by it, especially when I began with the workbook only, and then I purchased the text, and I was so moved that there's such a sense of relief that the profound teachings leaves me with such relief that is not even real, and it was just so now, like, there's like this really deep peace, especially when I lay down to go to sleep. So it's like a weight's been lifted of some kind. And at the same time, I find it almost mind-boggling, the teachings, like
Yeah.
nothing real. I'm not no body. I mean, it's a relief, but at the same time, how do I keep going back and forth between that truth and living? And it's and so I'm glad there's other people that are equally dealing with, not dealing, but in a sense, yeah, it's like I don't have to deal with a virus, a fear of a virus. I don't have to deal with news about abortion, but I have to deal with the fact that this isn't even real. So it's like, it's not stressful, but yet it's kind of big. It's really big.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, this isn't some little thing. It affects every single thing. And, whereas people who have to deal with the things of the world, well, they can deal with it for a few minutes and complain about it and do what it is they do. But this is everything.
Yeah, it's once you realize what the course is really teaching, it's sort of a bit mind-boggling. That's why Jesus says some of these things it'll be quite startling. But after many years, and it's lovely to hear, Elaine, that you've already had some experience. Sometimes you can get that when you first start the course, you get this really amazing understanding, and it sort of like brings you peace. But then there's sometimes a little bit more underneath to work at releasing. Living in the world but not being of it. It takes a while. It did take me a while because I saw that this whole world had no reality, and yet I'm still here. And so it's being in the world but not of it. But it's sort of just been the happy dream, because if I'm immortal spirit and not a body, then what have I got to fear if there is no death? So coming to have those things, and then you just do what you do. I just came to see that if my neighbour turned up and didn't know I practice this course, I was with the neighbours last night. We've got a great community in our street, and we have these gatherings. And, it's just enjoying what is. You just sort of come back to being more living it. Like when I was really practicing the course, I really went within, and I didn't really go much to family gatherings, or I tried to stay more still and quiet and really take these teachings in. But the second part of the teachings is to come back into the world in a different way. So where I see everyone here not as bodies, like the bodies just don't register. And I just see everyone as immortal spirit, the Christ. And I don't have to tell anyone that. It's just that my heart's open, and it's soft and open all the time to everyone I meet. So I'm never closed off. I'm never like, oh, this person's like that. There's no judgment on anyone. And so that's really just the happy dream. So you don't really need to change anything in your life if you don't feel you need to. Sometimes you're guided to have a few little changes, but you don't have to leave anything because you're being guided to see the world differently, to have your mind in God or truth and see true reality, which is to just say, it's like I like the analogy of the world as being sort of like a virtual reality game.
Yes. I was seeing myself as an avatar even before I came across, before the course came to me.
Well, that's great.
And then there was a time in my life about 25 years ago when I was been different challenges and tragedies and things, and I was at a state of mind, a state of being where I was seeing people's souls. Like I would only see their eyes and see, and I was like, what's happening? I'm seeing people right into their soul. I'm not seeing personalities. So I did have that kind of experience, and I think that's why the course gave me such relief, because I've had a lot of spiritual experiences that and I know the Holy Spirit has been speaking to me all the time. I just didn't know it, and now I'm learning it a little more formally, that oh yeah, I mean, the Holy Spirit has spoken to me so many times and given me so many, experiences. I just never qualified them, but there, yeah. So I did live for a period of time seeing people just as holy, and I'm looking forward to that returning. I'm looking forward to that.
Yes,
returning.
it will return. It
Yeah,
will come back.
It will. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Elaine.
Okay, I have the final question. This question is from Nathan Lively, one of our awesome members. He wrote this in our Facebook group. I have a question for Cate tonight. Is it hurtful to pray for specifics? Ken makes it pretty clear that everyone starts out this way, but that eventually you see that you're reinforcing the ego's thought system. At my point in the journey, I still find myself very much wanting things in my life to go well, like more pleasure, less pain. Am I hindering my progress by adding in specific outcomes into my practice of rules for decision?
Yes. Yeah, look, if you're already aware, look, it's really, when you pray for specifics and you're unaware that you're trying to make something happen to get your own pleasure or avoid pain. Once you become aware of that, you really should let it go and just pray for his will for you. So I think I would encourage Nathan to stop. Well, the thing is, I would say to Nathan, does this prayer work? Right? All the things you're praying for, are they coming true? Because really they're desires, right? Which is what we were trying to do before. We were letting go of these desires, right? To come to see the perfection of everything as it is. So everything is a lesson God would have me learn. And so I feel maybe with Nathan, he might be just trying to hang on to something because he doesn't want to give it up. But remember, the way I took you through that meditation today was for you to see how these things aren't what you're looking for. They're not something that will give it, like the business that you work for could go out of business. The house you live in could burn down. Your child could get sick and die. All these things. So praying in this way, in the Song of Prayer, he says these are things that we do early on. I would just encourage Nathan to ask himself, all the things that he's been praying for, say over the last 12 months, has any of them given him the joy and the peace that he's looking for? And in that answer is what helps you stop doing it. I mean, that's what I saw. I mean, I was seeking in relationships the love that I was looking for. And I eventually I got to one relationship and I just thought, you know what? I'm never going to find this love I'm looking for. Why? Because I'm here. Because it's all in me. So seek not outside yourself, seek within. So yeah, that's my answer. I think I'm here to represent the course's teachings, and I would say that it's we have to see that it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
That if we're praying for, we really want to pray. We want to ask the Holy Spirit to help me see this differently. So if I'm wanting something to be a certain way, when I say, Holy Spirit, help me see this differently, he's going to show you how you're suffering from the desire for something to either stay the same or change. And that's your suffering. He's going to show you this need not be. Let it go. It doesn't matter. And the metaphysics of the Course help you by saying to you that I'm not a body, I am free, I'm in God's mind and never left, I'm the love of God, and I can have that love in my mind and now use my body to extend that and be kind and loving and open to everyone I meet. They're God's messenger.
Okay.
So that's me.
Well, I know he will hear that response. And I would like to also add the thought that came to my mind is like asking the Holy Spirit for help to let go. You know, like, Holy Spirit, help me let go. And if maybe he can't let go, or anyone on this call, including myself, can't let go, it's like, Holy Spirit, help me to let go, and just keep asking that and asking that and asking that. And maybe that could be a starting point, you know, so.
Yes. That's a beautiful.
Awesome. Well, Cate, oh my gosh, we went 90 minutes, man. That's like crazy. That's so good. Thank you for taking extra time and answering everybody's questions. I know, right? Time flies when it doesn't exist.
I thought it was 90 minutes.
What?
I thought it was a 90-minute session.
Oh, well, it's kind of whatever when we have a special guest. I mean, but you know, like, honestly, I was just going with the flow, and the flow was there, and you were there, and the flow, and so we did it, man. This is such a beautiful recording. So I guess my last thing to ask you is how can people follow you? How can people find out more about you? Because your stuff is awesome. So where should people go?
Okay, so I have a Facebook page under my name, Cate Grieves, that I post into. I have a Facebook group called Zoom to Miracles with Cate Grieves, and that's where I post the online talks and meditations that I do. I have a YouTube channel under my name, and I've got some. We've joined with Shannon, and we're doing some workshops, daily workshops, and we're also going to announce a little course coming up in the next few weeks. It's intensive mind training. So lots of things coming up. So yes, there's a website, Cate Grieves. All that is really just my blogs, and I've had someone translate some of my talks, so they're up there, and they just point you to so YouTube and Facebook are the main places. I try not to be in too many places, because it's easier just to me, it's like, keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
So there you go.
You guys know where to go now. Follow Cate on Facebook, follow Cate on YouTube, go into her Zoom to Course in Miracles with Cate, or Zoom to Miracles with Cate Grieves. And just like, you know, I've made you a see first person in my Facebook. So whenever you post, you're at the top of my feed, because your content is so good. So like, if you guys want to see Cate's, whenever she makes a post, if you want it guaranteed to show up in your face, you make Cate a see first person. And there's a way to do that on Facebook. If you don't know how, Google it, because you'll find, or go to YouTube and put, how do I make someone a see first? And you'll get a little video that show you how to do it. But every time I open my Facebook and you post, Cate, I like get your like awesome post and your wisdom, and I feel so good. And I share it into our Living A Course in Miracles group. So by the way, follow us on Living A Course in Miracles too, everybody. But yeah, so guys, like, just follow Cate. Thank you again, Cate. I love you. I'm so grateful to you.
Love you.
And yes,
Thank you.
everybody,
Thank you
let's
so
unmute the
much.
lines. Everyone unmute yourselves and say thank you, Cate, and have an awesome day.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Cate.
much.
Thank you,
Kate.
Kate.
I love
Wonderful.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
A lovely
everybody.
day.
Thanks,
Have an awesome
everybody.
day, everyone.
Thank you, Cate.
Awesome
Love
night.
you. Love you, Kate.
Love you.
I love you, Sally.
Thank you, Jared.
Yes, you're
Love you,
welcome.
everyone.
Amazing.
Love you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.